Physics Class 8 Chapter 5 Light Energy Part 3 Effects of Refraction in Nature by Zainab Bahari.
Welcome back, dear students, to the Class 8 Physics. Today we are going to discuss about the very much interesting effects of refraction of light in the nature. That is in the form of early sunrise and late sunset, as well as the concept of mirage. Both this phenomenon we are going to discuss in the detailed way. So dear students, as we learned in the previous videos, what is meant by refraction and how it takes place. Let us discuss the first, early sunrise and late sunset. As you know, sunrise as well as sunset is due to the rotational motion of the earth around its axis. As earth rotates around itself, we feel that sun is moving around it. It rises in the east and sets in the west. Sometimes we see the very wonderful, colorful morning as well as evening. How this takes place? What is the reason behind it? Let us discuss. So, early sunrise and late sunset. Before sunrise and after sunset, we see some reddish color in the sky. This is nothing but the effect of refraction of sunlight. As we know, when the sun rises in the east, the sunlight falls from the vacuum to the atmosphere of earth. Upper layer of atmosphere is little warmer than the lower layers. As a result, the density of air inside the atmospheric layers is also different. And here, when sunlight travels from vacuum to atmosphere, layer by layer, every time it suffers refraction. So, when light ray comes from the upper atmospheric layer of air, there, due to the warmness, air is rare as compared to the lower layer of atmosphere. Here, at the lower layer, air is denser. And as it comes closer and closer to the earth, it becomes more and more denser. And every time light suffers refraction at every layer of air. As a result, it comes inside the atmosphere from the rare to denser. Each time it bends toward the normal. And when it reaches on the earth, we see light is coming straight at this point where the light rays appears to intersect it in a straight line. And due to this, the sun, which is still below the horizon, it appears above the horizon. Means this location of the sun upside is apparent location. And we see the appearance of reflected light of the sun. And this is nothing but the early sunrise, which is caused due to the refraction of light. The same thing is taking place at the evening. When the sun sets in the west, the lower layer of air is warmer than the upper layer. And every time, now in evening, sunlight bends away from the normal, and even though sun is already sated, below the horizon, it appears it is still in the sky. And we can say delayed sunset, that is late sunset. Dear students, the time of this early sunrise or delayed sunset is about 2 to 4 minutes. Let us visualize the same concept little more detailed way in the next animation.
Dear students, let us recapitulate the concept once again. Let us talk about what is the actual sunrise or sunset. So here I have drawn an earth and a sun. As we know, earth rotates around its axis, and due to which day and night happens. But we are not able to move around on the earth, as earth is a very big mass and we are very small on its surface. We feel the sun is moving around the earth, and hence we say sun is rising or setting. But actually we are moving around the sun. Let us assume this is the horizontal line. When the sun is lying below this horizon, the sunlight is not able to reach us. That is, we are calling as night. And when it is up the horizon, light ray reaches us. That is day. Let us try to understand this concept in a proper way. Suppose you are standing on the earth, and the point at which you are standing, from there we will draw a straight line, that is a tangent line, and this is we are calling as horizon. All the things which are below, from there light will not reach to you, since the earth is opaque. So you will be able to see the sky at this point in this way, that is, sun is just below the horizon and the light is not reaching to your eye. Now at the next moment, if suppose sun will raise up, now the sunlight will reach to you and you will be able to see the clear cut light coming from the sun, and this we are calling as sunrise. This will appear in the sky just like this. Here sun is reaching just up in the sky from the horizon. This is actual sunrise. Up to now we not have talked about atmosphere. Let us draw an atmosphere and see what happens to the sunlight when it reaches in the atmosphere. If atmosphere would not be there and sun is just below the horizon, the light will straightly go and you will not be able to see the sunlight. But here, since the sun is below the horizon and light rays are coming across the atmosphere, since the atmosphere has the different density than the vacuum and sunlight is traveling fastest in the vacuum and it gets slowed down into the atmosphere, and hence it gets bent toward the normal. As we have learned, when light travels from one medium to another medium, it gets refracted. Now this light, when falls on our eyes, our brain recognizes the light is falling straight from this point, but actually light is coming from the down. Still sun is below the horizon, not up, and we feel that sun has come up the horizon. But fact is that yet sun is just below the horizon. So this is the combination of effect of refraction of light due to the atmosphere, and simultaneously the refraction is followed by reflection, and it appears sun is just above the horizon. And dear friends, this rising is taking place before the sun actually rises, and this time is near about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise, and this we are calling as apparent or early sunrise. So here where the sun we feel, but actually it is not there. It is just below the horizon still, and the light rays are appearing to come from little up. If sun is just above the surface, above the head, then light ray will fall perpendicular, that is normally, and it will not face any refraction. This way, due to our atmosphere, we feel objects just below the horizon, and as they are below the horizon, as much as they below the horizon, they appears up the horizon. If they are much more down, then they will not appear or they will not be seen obviously. And as the object will come up, means they will rise and rise in the sky, and as they will come on the head, the shifting effect or refraction of light will become absolutely zero, since they will be normally falling. Same thing is taking place during the sunset in the west.
Dear students, you might have observed many times when traveling at the hot day on the road, the presence of water on road at some distance, or in the desert, the false impression of presence of water pond and the reflected images can be seen. This is nothing but the mirage. Let us discuss the science behind the concept of mirage. Dear students, sometimes such inverted images of the things like trees, vehicles on the road, we can feel, we can see this false impression. And this mirage is due to nothing but the refraction of light. It is a combination effect of refraction and false reflection. That is apparent reflection. Let us see how it takes place. In the desert, the air down to the surface of the earth is warmer. Since the sand becomes warm, it also warms the lower layers of air. And this air at the lower layer is hotter and rarer as compared to the upper layer. Now, when sunlight falls on any object, it gets reflected and reaches our eyes. So this reflected light, when enters from the upper denser layer of air, that is cold as compared to the lower layer, since they are denser. The denser upper layer, when light ray enters in the rarer layer, it continuously gets bent away from the normal. As it moves from dense to rare, it bends away from the normal. And repeatedly, it gets bent away and away. Still, it becomes 90 degree. And at this, when it becomes exactly 90 degree, further refraction we cannot see. Now here, instead of refraction, it appears, it gets reflected from the certain points. And this is called as internal reflection. Since the angle of refraction becomes more than critical angle, that is more than 90 degree, further it increases, causes the impression of reflection of light ray from the lower point. And we see the light ray coming straight from here, which makes the image of object false impression of the object. That is, inverted image is observed to be fine in our eyes, and this is called as mirage. Let us study the same concept in the next visual clip. Drinking water on road is one thing, but a thirsty traveler in the desert sees water. Isn't it an amazing thing? Let us see how this happens. Actually, in the desert, the sand is warm. The air over here is warmer, and here it is cooler. Light falls, it passes through the refraction. Let us see how this happens.
So we learn that layer of air at the bottom is warmer and gradually it becomes denser and denser. The sunlight which comes on object and gets reflected. This reflected light ray from the object enters from the denser medium to the rarer medium, and every time it gets bent away from the normal. Each time it bends away from the normal. But at one point, light will hit at an angle which is greater than critical angle. And this is the point at which now light will not get refracted, while we will observe the total internal reflection, and the light ray will enter through the observer's eye. It will perceive that it is coming straightly from the image. So it appears as a reflection, that is the mirage. Dear students, for mirage to occur, there has to be total internal reflection and the two more conditions. First one, light should travel from denser medium to rarer medium. Second, light should hit an angle greater than critical angle. Let us enjoy some scenic beauties of mirage.
Dear friends, I hope you enjoyed the phenomenon of refraction in the natural events. Study well and complete the given homework.